Hey, Dr. Steffi here. It's Friday, and I think it's time for a little Friday fun. So, some of you may know or do know that I recently went trekking in Nepal, and perhaps you also know that that's been a dream that I've had for a long time, decades. Almost don't want to say how many decades. But anyway, I was a teenager when I first came up with this idea. And so finally I did. So I'm going to do two things right now. I'm going to actually follow the requests that I've gotten from several of you to show some pictures. And then I'm going to offer two thoughts about what is that connection between business on one hand and having the freedom to do what you want to do. All right, so let's start with some pictures. Let me see what I can do this. Here we are. All right, so these are the two people I went trekking with, my friend Deepak here on the right, and his brother D Walker. And I know Deepak from Toastmasters. And so here we are in Pokhara, which is kind of we went from Kathmandu to Pokhara. That's a story in itself. And then as we started to go trekking, we taped up our feet to prevent, blisters. And that's an old backpacker trick that I told them. Because, when I was around 17, 18, 19, 20 or so, I did a fair amount of mountaineering in the Alps. And so then here we are on this mountain called Poon Hill, and we hiked up very early in the morning at 4 o'clock from the place that we stayed at called Gorapani, and hiked to Poon Hill, which is slated to be, or is when the weather is good, it's a really great place to see the Himalayas in the sunrise. So you get up early and you get there. Now, as you can see, it's kind of cold, and we had our lights on and all that. And so here is it's getting lighter, and we're waiting for that glorious sunrise rather. And as you can see, we had quite a few clouds at first. And then it intrigued us a bit, with the clouds moving back and forth a bit, and now you can start to see a little bit more of the Himalayas there, and it was just a great time. So here's some of the flowers we saw along the way. This is now at lower elevation. Here we're eating some of the traditional Nepalese food. You as you trek through the mountains, you actually um, you have these tea houses that they call it. They're mountain huts, okay, and you can stay there and you can also eat there. And so uh, now on the second day we were trekking for 13 hours, well, with some breaks, but we were dead tired after. And then the next morning, here we go. This is a mountain called Fishtail. Very Uh, so here we're doing a little bit more taping of the feet, the fishtail again, and then we're getting higher and higher. And here we are at the base camp of Annapurna, which is the 10th largest or tallest mountain in the world. And it was an amazing feeling. And then I have, of course, tons of pictures. But here we were playing on top with, I mean, not on top of the mountain, but at the base camp in the snow. And here's some more pictures. And then, we stayed on a Friday night, and then on Saturday morning, the sunrise was amazing. And you can see some more of the pictures. Now, this is just a fraction of the paper. Oh, so this is now at the base camp also. And you get a bit of a sense what it's like. But what's really hard to relate to you is just how I felt when we got to that namaste sign that I just showed you, and we reached the base camp after a lot of effort. And, just even knowing that, hey, I made this happen. I actually made my dream a reality, right? That that was tremendous. And this was, the most serious sort of mountaineering that I've done in like over 30 years. you know, and of course there's much more serious mountaineering that you could be doing. But anyway, it was amazing. And some more pictures here. This is Fishtail again. Uh, and this was actually from a place much lower. We we went up 930 feet, meters, rather, in one day to reach the Annapurna base camp, and we went down over 1,800 meters. So when I say meters, multiply that with 3 to get this in feet. Okay, so anyway, a tremendous adventure. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about you. And I want to talk a little bit about that connection between business and freedom. I think part of what we want from our business, of course, is money. Another part we want to make a difference with it. And another part I think we want from business is freedom. And that is the freedom to do what we want to do when we want to do it. But then if I'm correct, if that is a driver for a lot of people to start their businesses, then why is it that so many of us business owners don't have that freedom? We find ourselves immersed in the business so much that we can't even envision the idea to be gone for, in this case, 2.5 weeks. And I think as one grows the business, either you have a business where it's just you, and then, you know, then the business rises and falls with you. Now, as you start to have a team, then you're in a different position, and hopefully you can start to delegate more of your work to that team. But the question is, how far can you go with that delegation? How much of the work that needs to be done in the business is doable by your team versus doable only by you? And this is where that whole conversation about effective knowledge transfer comes in. And you might have heard me talk about this before. There's two types of knowledge: the knowledge that you know you have, and the knowledge that you don't even know you have. You have it, but it's in the back of the mind, it's unconscious competence. And that, sharing that knowledge, finding a way to share that knowledge, that's the key. The key, wait a minute, I have a key here. Hold on. That's the key to unlocking, that freedom. And I think with that, then you can make your dreams a reality. And you know what? It doesn't have to take very long to do that. So if that's intriguing, drop me a line. We'll have some Q&As, or let's chat for a few minutes and see what knowledge might you have that is holding you back from currently, from actually taking some of these things that you want to do off of the back burner and actually making them happen. All right. Happy Friday.